Hi, we are Rob and Kathy, and welcome to our channel. Join us for our travels in Australia and beyond.
Good morning, viewer, and welcome to Darwin. Looks a little bit overcast and cloudy from our vantage point in the Hilton. Today, we've got a quick breakfast and a pick-up at 7:50, and then we're off on our bus to pick up again with Spirit Tours to Kakadu. On the way, we're going to do a Mary River cruise and hopefully see a couple of saltwater crocodiles, visit the Bowley Visitors Centre and the Manakula wetlands. So all will become more apparent as we get there and we all learn about it together. So I'll see you soon.
This is the Hilton at Darwin. This morning we rejoined Outback Spirit Tours for our Kakadu adventure. We had a new guide, Pascal, and a very similar Mercedes four-wheel drive bus. We soon left Darwin behind and entered the lush green bush. Our first stop was at the boxing crocodile, and where else but in Darwin would you see such a thing? And there are some seriously big trucks on the top end. Next on our agenda was a cruise on the Billabong, which is part of the Mary River. You expect a billabong to be a small little waterhole, but the size of the Billabong varies depending on the season. But a 2.5-hour cruise is quite possible. Our cruise was a little over an hour. We departed on our cruise with a lovely talk about the dangers of dangling body parts over the boat and crocodiles. The Billabong is part of a wetland system that is 1,200 square kilometres in size. The most impressive part of the Billabong is the wildlife, which is abundant. Here's a darter. Then we have a whistling kite. And a Jesus bird, so named because it appears to walk on water. And here is a most impressive jabiru stork. Perhaps most impressive of all was this white-bellied sea eagle. And in case you were wondering, this is not a bird, it's a water buffalo, cooling off in the river. They're certainly big fellas. They were introduced by the Chinese. And we finally saw a saltwater crocodile. Stealth hunters, they are scary. We had a close encounter with the lily pads, and then we headed back. Soon after that, we were back on the bus and headed for lunch. Lunch was at a BP/pub/roadhouse, the Bark Hut at Ubirr. Very roomy, and there was an excellent menu. Cook and I settled for vegetarian pizza, which was very nice. I imagine this fellow had a few stories to tell. After our lunch, back on the road, and we were heading to Kakadu. Kakadu National Park is 171 kilometres southeast of Darwin. It is a World Heritage Site. The park covers an area of 19,804 square kilometres, 1/3 the size of Tasmania. Most of the park is owned by the traditional owners, having occupied the land for around 60,000 years. Our first stop was the Manakula wetlands. A short walk took us to a large observation platform, from which we were able to watch a wonderfully diverse range of water birds. We saw another whistling kite, and these highly unusual creatures, magpie geese. And here are a few of the locals. Once more back to the bus, and we headed to our accommodation at the Mercure Kakadu Crocodile Hotel at Jabiru. The Mercure Crocodile Hotel is situated in the township of Jabiru. It has 110 air-conditioned rooms, a swimming pool, a restaurant, bar, and event facilities. It is an ideal place to stay to explore the northern end of Kakadu. However, its most notable feature is that it is built in the shape of a crocodile. So we settled into our room, had dinner, and then we were about to retire for the evening when we had a call saying there was a snake to play with down in the foyer. And here's Cook enjoying some intimate moments with the snake.
Where are we going now? Going after my body lotion or something.
Nah, she just always slides around.
Where are you
She
going?
just wiggles a lot, so yeah.
Good morning, viewer, and welcome to Sunday. It's early, it's still dark because we're continuing our Kakadu adventure with an early morning plane flight, which is going to be great. We are being treated to a chorus, an amazing chorus of cockatoos up in the trees here at the resort. There are hundreds of them, as you can hear. So it's quite a way to wake up, and we'll show you all about today as we do it. See you soon. And after breakfast we were out early and on our way to Jabiru Airport. Right. We walked out to the aeroplanes. We walked past all the big planes to a rather small Cessna 210. I managed to secure the back seat where it was a little bit squishy, but then we were off. It was early morning and there was still some mist about. Our first point of interest was the Ranger uranium mine. It's closed now and is awaiting regeneration. I hope you can get some sense of the grandeur of this country. It just goes on forever. Here we can see the East Alligator River. We will be on this later on this afternoon. It's quite dry in patches, but there's water in this bit. And here is the river once again. And then we were over wetlands. This area will be flooded in a month or so when the wet season starts. And then much too soon we were landing back at Jabiru. And we were back in the terminal. Back on the bus, we headed for our next adventure, the East Alligator River, famous not for alligators, but its saltwater crocodiles. Well, we've just arrived at the East Alligator River, and wondering if we'd see any crocodiles, here's one waiting for us before we've even got on the boat. In fact, there were so many saltwater crocodiles, they were beyond number. Quite warm in the middle of the day, and they're just hanging around keeping cool. As the tide changes, it brings barramundi up the river, and they'll do a little bit of hunting then. Like Cook, they're quite partial to a barramundi. This is the infamous Cales Crossing. It's a famous car crossing into Arnhem Land. It has been described as the most dangerous causeway in Australia. This is due firstly to the tides, which can sweep across the crossing, washing cars into the river. And then there are the saltwater crocodiles, waiting for such an occurrence. The East Alligator River is 160 kilometres long. It rises in the northern part of Arnhem Land and meets the ocean at Point Farewell. The lower reaches of the river are famous for its crocodiles. However, there's an abundance of other plant and animal life. And yet another saltwater crocodile, meandering past. You'll notice here that the river has changed colour. That's because there's more fresh water now than salt water. We slowed down and docked for a brief excursion into Arnhem Land. Arnhem Land is an historical region of the Northern Territory. The area covers about 97,000 square kilometres. Arnhem Land has an estimated population of 16,000, of which 12,000 are Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. A little bit of a climb gave us an excellent view of the river. And to the other side of the river was this beautiful waterhole. After our brief excursion into Arnhem Land, we returned to the boat, turned around and headed back. Our next stop was at the World Heritage Ubirr art site, home to some of the world's most outstanding rock art. And it's a 1 kilometre circular track on a good path to take you to the artworks. This is a barramundi, and this style of rock art's around 4,000 years old. Some of the artwork's very faded now, but you can still make them out. It is quite amazing that so much has survived given almost 4,000 years. And then for those of us feeling a little more adventurous, there was a steep 250 metre climb to the top of the rocky escarpment for magnificent views of the Magella floodplain. It was certainly worth the effort. Also, there were some more excellent rock paintings. These are in the X-ray style, some of the earliest artworks. And this is an amazing piece of artwork. It is a thylacine, or Tasmanian tiger, which shows that they did actually live on the mainland. Then we turned around, headed back to the bus, and made our way to the Crocodile Hotel for a well-earned rest. Might I add that the temperature for the day was around 43 degrees Celsius. Right, just finishing off today. It was a big one, very hot, lots of really interesting things we saw, the flight, the Crocodile River, and the Aboriginal artworks, all were great. Bit overcome though by it all, and this afternoon we just stayed in and had a swim by the pool. That was very nice. Tonight we're off for dinner and watch the NRL Grand Final. So I think that'll be it for tonight. See you tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, you might consider hitting the like button or subscribe to the channel. In our next episode, we visit Litchfield National Park, have a swim, and enjoy a dinner cruise on Darwin Harbour.